Tarot Revealed and another quick video for you. Today I'm going to be briefly talking to you about how the beginnings of tarot, how you begin to read tarot cards. So if you're a novice to tarot and you feel that you would like to engage with the cards or even like to just have a little dabble, then probably this as a starting point will be quite an interesting video for you. One thing you'll notice that I always do in all my videos is I always have candles lit, and the reason for this is I was taught at an early age that having a lit candle when you're opening up energies actually creates a sense of well-being and a sense of security, and traditionally it should ward off evil because light against darkness. But I always like the candles anyway now because it just gives the right feeling for when I'm reading the cards. I tend to just light a couple. You will see me light up to, I have my 3 pillars candles, and I also have a very snazzy little, which was a gift from my family at Christmas. It's a herbal candle, and it's got the most amazing, watch don't catch myself on fire, it's got the most amazing aroma, so I like that. Actually is making my room smell beautiful. Okay, so tarot is a series of cards. They're split into 2 sections, so you've got your major arcana and you've got your minor arcana. Your major arcana are all to do with elements of your life, so how we perceive ourselves. So if you consider it to be a journey, so it starts with the Fool. So the Fool sets out on his journey, and he has no knowledge, and he has to travel through all of the major arcana cards to actually develop himself and become a more rounded individual. And that's what these cards are. So they are where we are placed in our current situation, sort of on a spiritual level, and what lessons we've still got to learn. The minor arcana are cards which are more detailed around events, so specific events that will happen in our lives, and they give a little bit more detail as to things that have happened and the reason why we're behaving in a certain way, because we tend to look with tarot, we always look at past, present and future, and it's not to say that the future card is the infinite and that's going to happen and done and dusted. These cards are a guide, and so once you've had your tarot reading, there is an opportunity for change, and that's the whole purpose of this, is you use your intuition to look back and see where mistakes were possibly made or what went particularly well, and then to either repeat that or never do that again. But it's all about learning. So I always say the cards are not fortune telling, they're intuition cards, and they're there as guidance. And 9 times out of 10 when somebody wants a tarot reading, they've got a question, there's something they need an answer to, and so they look to the cards for guidance. So when you're setting out on deciding that you'd like to learn tarot, the first thing you do is you need a deck of cards. Now obviously this is the Ciro Marchetti deck, which I'm going to be using today, because as I've said before, they're beautiful. But you will generally be drawn to a deck, so you're likely to either be gifted a deck, or you'll be buying a deck in a shop. So you'll go along and have a little look at what they've got when you're not in lockdown. Go along, have a little look at what they've got, and find which deck you're drawn to. You will be drawn to a deck, and then get those home. And the first thing I suggest you do when you get your cards home, most decks, if you're buying brand new decks, will come with the text, so the description, and the Ciro Marchetti does a lovely book. But a lot of the books are just little pamphlets with just little keywords in, just to give you a guide as to what that card actually means. But in all truth, the best thing you could possibly do is to spend a couple of, as long as you want really, just holding your cards and looking at each one, and just not go into your book. Don't open them up and instantly think that you're going to become a tarot reader. So just go to your cards and just turn a card over. If it's a brand new deck, then you're going to be starting with the Fool. Turn it over and have a look what card is in front of you, and what does that card mean to you, and what is that card saying to you. Very often we find that when somebody's beginning their tarot reading journey, they'll rush this process, and this process will be a case of, I've turned the card over, I can see it says faith, grab the book, find out what it means, move on. And that is completely the non-intuitive way of doing it. That is the practical way of doing it. And if we want to be a practical tarot reader, then carry on reading like that, no worries. It'll give you a good steer. If you want to be an intuitive tarot reader, then you take the card and you have a little look. And there's a couple of things you're looking for here. Is what does the tarot card in front of you make you feel? So I've got the faith card here, and just by looking at it I can see that the 4 individuals on there are all in the process of prayer, and they're all facing the same direction, and they all have their eyes closed, and they're all concentrating. So this card, just looking at it, it's a warm looking card. It makes me feel quite secure, it makes me feel comforted, it makes me think that, you know, by shutting our eyes and just concentrating on what it is that we really want to be feeling and listening to our inner voice might just actually deliver a message. So without looking at the book, I would interpret from this card that this is a card of reflection, and a card where we need to spend a little bit of time breaking down the barriers of what we perceive to be the practical world, and visiting the spiritual world and seeing what messages the spirit has to deliver to us, and just being present with ourselves and just concentrating on the peace that surrounds when we're in that moment, when we've got our hands clasped and we've got our eyes shut and we're just in the moment. And that's what that card has said to me without me opening the book. And I've actually picked a pretty good one there, because actually faith has been reinterpreted, as you will have seen from my previous videos. It's one that Sarah Marchetti has reinterpreted from the Hierophant card. And then you do the same thing. Don't wear yourself out. Don't try and do all of the 78 cards in one hit. That's absolutely the most impractical way of doing it. You'll never complete it and feel comfortable. Just flick through, pick the next card out, hold it up. You know, I've got the Ace of Cups. So this card in the Sarah Marchetti deck is beautiful, and all of Sarah Marchetti's cards are beautiful, even the more negative cards. But we've got a fish who isn't confined within the goblet, but he's admiring the goblet. So it's it gives the impression that you have the freedom to enjoy your surroundings without being confined by them. This card has the beautiful ocean flowing through it, and all the beautiful things that are under the sea that we don't normally see. So it's telling me to look deeper, look for the inner meaning in things, you know, the opportunities that are there that have not yet been revealed, because what is on the surface is not necessarily what's underneath. And until we dig deeper into a situation, then we won't have the true knowledge of what that situation is trying to deliver to us. So use your intuition. So really nice reflective cards showing promise and hope and new things to be revealed. And I would suggest that you actually begin your tarot journey by doing that simple task, is by ignoring the book initially. You know, if you want to learn the book mantra-wise and verbatim, absolutely fine, no issues with that at all. If you want to just feel the cards, get to know the cards, get the energy from the cards, how it's making you feel, this is the best way to do it. And that way, when you come back and you actually do a reading, you'll remember that feeling. You'll remember, well, what else did I see in that card that day when I was doing my exploring? Did I see something more than I'm seeing today? And each time you look at a card, you'll see something different. And when you have a different energy surrounding the cards, if you lay different cards out around these cards, they'll take on a new meaning. But it gives insight and in-depth into the journey that you're currently on as a beginner in tarot reading. And I think it's a fascinating journey. It's a beautiful journey. I wish you well with it. So next time I'm going to be talking more about the different cards and what they mean, and the different suits and what they mean. But for now, I would just encourage you to get your hands on a deck, get your energy into the deck, and then just start spinning them over and just enjoying what you're seeing, and absorb as much information from that card, but all the time paying particular attention to how it's making you feel. Until next time, thank you for watching.